Morning, everybody. Welcome to this little perspective in Pisces. As I speak, it is about the time of the new moon in Brisbane. So, what can we expect? Hey, there's so much stuff going on around at the moment. We have the new moon, as I said, 11:24 this morning, Brisbane time. So if you're not in Brisbane or Queensland, do adjust for your own location. And understand the sun keeps moving and into Aries at the zero chart point on Saturday, the 21st in the morning, early in the morning at about 1 o'clock, heralding the beginning of the equinox, where day and night are the same length in time. And the sun and moon also contact the point of the Neptune-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees Aries, which occurred around the 20th of February, just on about a month ago. So it's energetically significant when the sun and moon pass over that point. Mars will be at 0 degrees around the 11th of April, and a few days later on the 15th of April, Mercury will also reach that point. So I'm expecting unrest, all sorts of interesting things happening everywhere. So just be prepared, roll with the punches. Whatever you do, do not panic. Stay calm. There's always another way. On an optimistic note, the new moon today makes a lovely sextile with Uranus in the dying degrees of Taurus, supporting new and different activities, but with some restraint since Taurus is not fond of change. Unfortunately, the global unrest, I can't see that ceasing anytime soon. So what can you do? What can we do? Understand that the more attention and energy you give to this situation, the more you feed that narrative. I suggest that you focus on self and be the peace and love and compassion that you would like to experience. And when you fill your own cup by meeting your own needs, you can support others. I was planning an Equinox dinner for Saturday night, but there's just too much going on for me with astrology sessions, visitors, and other responsibilities. So maybe another time. But maybe you would like to organise an Equinox dinner. Let me know how you go. It's interesting when I trawl YouTube and seek the opinion of other astrologers who do research and seem to be much more competent than me. And many of them also confess to being spiritually connected, line of upstairs. There are different emphases or interpretations depending on the astrologer. And it's all valid. It just depends on the lens on which you see things. That applies to anything as well as astrology. So for your information, I regularly check out Pam Gregory, Molly McCord, Heather Ensworth, Tanya Gabrielle, and others. Another one I check out from time to time is Dan Waites at Universal Astrology, and he seems to have quite a dark view of the future, but one worth considering. He talks about the Kakastocracy. He means that he sees our world being dominated by leaders who do not have the welfare of the masses top of mind. Kaka is the ancient Greek word, might also be the modern Greek word, for human excrement. Kakastocracy, people with that sort of energy, ruling our planet? Really? It's a bit scary to contemplate, especially when they're all supposedly connected to each other. I'll put the YouTube link down below in the notes, so do watch Dan Waites and what he's got to say. It's quite interesting. On the other hand, we know that firstly, Pluto is in Aquarius for the next nearly 20 years. And this is the energy of people power. In addition, Pluto is orbiting what is considered astrologically out of bounds, meaning that it is difficult to predict what that transformative energy may do. And historically, this has also meant that people power prevails. So let's keep putting energy into people power. Do you think that you can help yourself align with some people power and contribute to the changing the energy of this world for the better? I suggest you may do this by engaging with community groups, the ones that have common interests, or even political parties to see what difference you and others can make. Remember that there are more people wanting power in the hands of the masses than there are those who are wanting to hang on to dark power and impose it on the masses. Now, what about the Epstein saga? I'm sure this has not escaped your notice. And much of the news about the Epstein files and the information they reveal. I find it really interesting how the judicial system has managed to ignore the evidence or sidestep accusations, particularly those made against people in positions of power and influence throughout the world, and at so many levels. I support the continuing fight by victims for justice. Virginia Giuffre has a compelling account of her experience in this dark world in her book. And she and the other victims are entitled to be heard and validated, and their abusers to be punished. It's interesting that Donald, we all know Donald, has moved focus of activity to Iran and the Middle East, where there has been ongoing conflict for many years. Many are questioning if this is yet another diversion to protect himself and others from the evidence provided by the Epstein disclosures. What do you think? I will not focus too much energy on this activity, despite the effect it will have on our cost of living. I mean, the war. In my opinion, war serves no purpose. And I'm more than sympathetic to those innocent folk caught up in the conflict and the crossfire. Now, what about New Year's resolutions? Oh, you'll say, but we did those at the beginning of the year. Well, maybe you did, but as far as I'm concerned, the new year begins on Saturday at the Aries ingress, at the time that the sun moves into Aries, at the Aries equinox. And I believe this is the time for us to put energy into those New Year resolutions. And many, you may well have created and thought about those at the beginning of the calendar year. But you might also have found this quite challenging because there's so much else going on at that time of the year for us. Now, by turning your attention to what we would like to experience in the coming year, we can put some positive focus into our collective lives. And with this Pisces new moon, traditionally, new moons are about new projects and new directions. But with this Pisces new moon, we're invited to stop, contemplate, and connect with our intuition. Pisces, Neptune, water. What do we emotionally or energetically need to release? It is likely that some issues arose for us at the time of the recent full moon and lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago. And it is now time to acknowledge what you may have experienced, accept the lessons, and just let go of that energy. Set yourself free by letting go of old energy and setting focus for new experiences. And with this new moon so close to the North Node in Pisces, we're being invited to focus on the collective path of spiritual growth and developing our intuition. I do encourage you, take some time out and allow yourself space and time to hear, to experience your higher self. So with the Aries ingress, what are you considering for your plans for this year? Consider that Uranus moves into Gemini, an air sign, at the beginning of May. Uranus and Pluto are then both in air signs, making a trine, a happy relationship, and supporting innovation on a grand scale with exciting new ideas and the energy to make them happen. Remember that AI is likely to accelerate the pace of activities. Remember also that AI is not always correct or right. So you cannot rely on ChatGPT and similar engines, but it may stimulate your imagination. Now, Pluto and Uranus, these two planets, are supported in their ideas generation by Neptune and Saturn in fire sign Aries. Just moved there. Jupiter, the planet of abundance, will travel through to Leo, another fire sign, from July. So just take a moment and think about what you get in physics when you combine fire and air. There will be amazing new inventions and new ways of doing things. And you also could be the generator of new and amazing ideas. Consider what you might want to achieve in the near future, where you might want to live, the sort of people you would like to spend time or work with. What about your family? How will they or do they fit into your plans? How important are they to you? Dream big and have a vision of what you want to achieve rather than the mechanics of how you will achieve the goal. So keep the vision. Don't worry about how you might get there. We have been programmed in a very male-oriented world of strong and realistic goals and specific financial objectives. Now, this is not wrong, but our energy is shifting to a more feminine stream in which feelings, emotions, and intangibles can be important. Is success only measured by material and financial results? What sort of intellectual and or emotional achievement is a measure of success for you? I'd love to have your feedback. Would you share your dreams? My friend Jacqueline McLeod has written about this shift in a book she called Feminine Masculine Balance, a paradigm shift for a peaceful and abundant society. She may be ahead of her time, but then again, her book is available on Amazon. Check it out. Chair yoga. Last week, one of my chair yoga ladies had a bad day. She was obviously not herself. As the teacher, I was concerned and watching her closely. At the end of the class, many ladies came forward and offered support. We parted, knowing that she was being supported and her welfare was in good hands. And as a teacher, I was delighted that I have so many caring ladies in the class, collaborating for the welfare of just one. It's a great example of how our communities can support our members and not rely on third-party support. What communities do you belong to? Can you see yourself supporting other members of that group? Now we're a few weeks into the year of the fire horse, and the last new moon in Aquarius coincided with the Chinese New Year of the fire horse. My friend Deborah, an accomplished Feng Shui practitioner, has done an analysis for my home and recommended several changes. So I have been busy rearranging my furniture, changing color schemes, and finding auspicious elements to introduce into my space. The bedroom's gone from pink, no, Evelyn, you can't have that color, to yellow and sort of a milk chocolate color. Interesting change of energy, and I'm feeling it. And the local op shop is a marvelous source of paintings and other knickknacks that enhance the space in special ways. I took the opportunity also to clear out books I will never again read, but I can access them via library. Result? One less bookcase. The op shop will get that also soon. Energy in the home flows so much more easily and healthily when there is little or no clutter. It also helps to move out items that no longer serve you. If you want Deb's details so she can do a feng shui for you, let me know. The last thing, I just want to acknowledge a lovely referral I had via Facebook for an astrological consultation. And subsequently, this client has referred me to another. So thank you, universe. If you're interested in reading an astrological reading, email me and we can make a plan. In the meantime, enjoy this Pisces perspective, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.